It's the place where the mighty Mississippi River meets the Gulf of Mexico. Sediment from the river settles into this system of wetlands that thrive on the delicate marriage of fresh and salt waters. The wetlands are a nursery for shrimp, oysters, and crabs, and they're in danger. Like hundreds of other fishermen, Stanley Oncolade knows each pass, bay, and strip of land the coastal birds favor.
I made my living right here. I fish oyster here, I shrimp in these sand passes here.
At least he used to. These days he's working for BP, laying boom and skimming oil.
That's what we got now. Dead oysters.
The intricate network of waterways through the marshlands are now crisscrossed by oil slicks that inevitably end up in the grasses. Here's one example of crude covered grass, and here's a tar ball the consistency of peanut butter.
All of the grass in wetlands lands now, all of them that have been oiled, the surface leaves will all die. Those plants are going to die.
Loyola University's Dr. David White has dedicated decades to studying Louisiana's wetlands. While oiled beaches are relatively easy to clean, White says wetlands are much more difficult. Their plants have shallow roots that grow just inches below the muddy soil. Just the weight of humans walking on the plants to clean them would crush their roots and suffocate the plants. But even before oil from the Deepwater Horizon leak started creeping into the wetlands, they were in trouble.
You can see all these straight lines. There's straight lines going there, straight lines going there, up in here, and every place you've got a straight line, that's been dredged for oil and gas production.
After oil and gas are harvested in the Gulf, they must get back to land. In many cases, underwater pipelines cut through the wetlands to transport it. That's allowed salt water to seep into or intrude into fresh water, wreaking havoc on freshwater plants.
Most of our wetland loss problems in this coastal environment right now are really a result of human activity.
When oil was first discovered in the Gulf in the 1930s, Malik Wiley says coastal residents didn't understand the value or purpose of the marsh. They thought it was worthless.
It's an amazing web of life that we're just now getting a handle on.
Now Louisiana's coastal parishes are weighing their cleanup options. There's talk of controlled burns. Dr. White prefers the technique of trimming, giving the grasses a haircut when the wetlands are flooded to keep oil from collecting on their leaves when water recedes. Since the oil started threatening Louisiana's coast, locals have been using the Mississippi River as a shield. The unhindered outflow of the river is keeping oil from washing too far into the marsh. But in the fall, the river level drops.
You get low river water. You've got the potential then for tropical storms, moving potentially, obviously, oil into these interior lands of the Delta, not the peripheral lands of the Delta, but the interior lands of the Delta, where most of the migratory birds overwinter.
Another concern is just how long oil and toxic dispersements used to dissipate the oil will stay in the food chain. Dr. White fears it will be years. It's a sad shot of reality hitting the people who make a living on the waters.
This is very valuable to me, And at 50 years old, I don't want to go nowhere else and start nothing.
Hurricane Katrina gobbled up 217 square miles of wetlands. Scientists are hopeful no more than that will be lost to the oil spill. Many hope the disaster will draw attention to the work that was already underway to restore the coastal wetlands. As a symbol of how closely the region is tied to the oil industry, royalties from oil and gas production help pay for the coastal restoration projects. The people who live along the Gulf are ready for resolution.
We got old saying, you fish till you die, so I'm content with that. Well, I don't want to be flipping hamburgers till I die.
For now, for the first time in his life, Oncolade is buying imported fish in a box from the supermarket. It sustains him as he works to clean up his backyard. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, along the coast of Louisiana.